program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Hey, will you be my Valentine?
No, I will not.
Oh, what time is it?
It's Podblast time! Hey, that's right. It's Podblast time. How are you? How are you? How are you doing today? This is your weird, informative, and hopefully fun time capsule of memories of days gone by as we forge ahead together in the game of life. Remember the Milton Bradley board game of life?
I was more of a Monopoly man myself,
But right now we're talking about life, specifically pop culture history and life experiences that we all have in common. That's what this show, the Nostalgic Podblast, is all about. This is the Nostalgia Show with a bite. Welcome, I'm Chance Bartels, your host, no relation to Chance the Rapper. As always, as Steve Harvey says at the beginning of Family Feud,
we've got a good one for you today!
I just wanted to throw a show together because I didn't go live Friday night. I was live with Sarah on her channel, My Flock, last Tuesday night talking about the worst television shows of all time. And so I couldn't go live in my platforms. So I wanted to do just a quick show about Valentine's Day and other stuff. There's a lot of nostalgia news. As we're live, it's the day after Super Bowl 2024, and all sorts of crazy stuff happened in that game I want to talk about that may not be nostalgia related, but we're going to get back on track really quickly and talk nostalgia. If you want to be a part of the show, just comment, of course, and I will put your comment on the screen at no cost to you. And if you want to call old school, the phone number is 770-438-1050. And I have a lot of video for you, and I got to read my little disclaimer. In terms of the video and audio clips that I'll present to you today, I do not represent the owners of this material or any of their entities. This is a live, educational, interactive lecture for fellow nostalgia fans in which I earn no proceeds from these clips. I do not own any of the movie clips or musical cues. No rights were given or are implied. And I encourage all to purchase the official releases of this material where applicable. And all these clips were found on YouTube from other fan channels, and we're not taken or ripped from actual DVDs, Blu-rays, or 4K releases of any of these programs or films. Okay, that said, whoa. Let's get this nostalgic party started. Oh dear. I found out that someone passed away that I was unaware of. This actor's name is Don Murray. I want to play a little trailer of a movie that he did. What's notable about actor Don Murray, for those that don't know, is that he got killed. His characters got killed in almost everything he acted in, or at least a lot of things that he acted in. And I want to play a movie trailer for one of the Planet of the Apes movies that he did. And then we'll talk just briefly about Don Murray and his life in film and on television. Check this out.
Now, the biggest, the newest, the most exciting of all the Planet of the Apes pictures. Climaxed by the spectacular revolt of the apes. The most awesome, the most horrifying spectacle in the annals of science fiction. First pampered as pets, then abused as servants, now oppressed as slaves.
Order full mobilization of all security forces, police, militia, and reserve defense units. See that every entrance into the city is cordoned off immediately.
Yes, sir. Our control methods to include the use of tear gas and sedation darts.
There will be but one control method. Shoot to kill.
Ready? Aim. Fire!
This will be the end of human civilization, and the world will belong to a planet of apes!
Watch the screen explode as man faces ape in the ultimate revolution.
Where there is fire, there is smoke. And in that smoke, from this day forward, my people will plot and plan for the inevitable day of man's downfall. And that day is upon you now!
Just Another Day in Downtown Atlanta. Now, that's a pretty serious clip. That was the fourth of 5 Planet of the Apes, of the original Planet of the Apes movies. And Don Murray played that. This will be the end of human civilization, and the world will belong to a planet of apes. That was Don Murray that you saw there. And he lived a good long life. He passed away at the age of 94. Here's an article from Variety.com. Headline, Don Murray, Oscar nominated for his bus stop role opposite Marilyn Monroe, has died at the age of 94. Don Murray, who received an Oscar nomination for his performance opposite Marilyn Monroe in the 1956 film adaptation of William Inge's play Bus Stop, has died. He was 94. Let me see who wrote this article. Oh, Carmel Dagan wrote this article. Don Murray's son Christopher confirmed his death to the New York Times. In the 2017 reboot of Twin Peaks, he played Bushnell Mullins, the chief executive of Lucky 7 Insurance. Murray also starred in the 4th entry of the Planet of the Apes franchise, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. He played Brooke Shields' father in the original Endless Love. He got killed in that too, as he did in Planet of the Apes. And he recurred on the primetime soap opera Knots Landing as Sid Fairgate. Now, I'm going to add something. Chance Bartels here, your humble host. He was only in the first 2 seasons of Knots Landing. Really, the first 3 seasons, if you count the season 3 premiere, where he died. His car went off a cliff in the season 2 cliffhanger ending to Knots Landing, which was a spinoff of Dallas. In Dallas, season 3 of that program, Knots Landing spun off. And did you know Marion from Indiana Jones, Karen Allen, played Sid's troubled daughter in the pilot to Knots Landing, and then she left the show to work on Raiders of the Lost Ark. And of course, before that, she was in Animal House. But getting back to the death of Don Murray, reviewing Bus Stop, directed by Joshua Logan, the New York Times said, quote, with a wondrous new actor named Don Murray playing the stupid, stubborn poke, with the clutter of Broncos, blondes, and busters beautifully tangled, Mr. Logan has a booming comedy going before he gets to the romance. A great deal is owed to Mr. Murray. His tempestuous semi-idiocy, exploding all around a juvenile softness, sets up a mighty force to be curbed by Miss Monroe. And the fact that she firmly summons the will and strength to humble him, to make him say please, which is the point of the whole thing, attests to her new acting skill, unquote. In the Delbert Mann directed movie Bachelor Party from 1957, not the one with Tom Hanks, where the guy puts his member in a hot dog bun, scripted by Patty Chayefsky, Murray played a young husband who learns that his wife is going to have a baby, then must go out with a group of friends from the office for the title celebration for one of the boys. Over the long evening, the group makes an effort to whip up cheer, in the words of the New York Times Review, but Murray's character wryly reflects on his own boredom and his sense of being trapped, ultimately realizing that his only happens is with his wife. Doesn't even make sense. His only happiness is with his wife. Murray, the New York Times said, quote, is the standout only because he has that fattest role and is able to work beneath the surface of his bookkeeper to some depths of genuine sensitivity, unquote. Let's see how long this article is here. Also in 1957, Murray appeared in A Hatful of Rain, a Fred Zinnemann-directed adaptation of the play by Michael V. Gazzo about Polo Pope, played in the film by Anthony Francoscia. I cannot pronounce these names. I'm sorry. I know I'm mangling these names. Who must deal with the drug addiction of his brother Johnny, a Korean War veteran played by Don Murray, and his growing attraction to Johnny's pregnant wife, played by Eva Marie Saint. Variety praised Francoscia's performance and said, Franciossa's performance, that's probably how you say this guy's last name, Franciossa's performance, and said, quote, Don Murray scores too, as the likable junkie who desperately attempts to hide his secret from his wife and his obtusely devoted father, unquote. All right, let's see. The next year, Don Murray starred in two fine CinemaScope shot westerns. That means widescreen westerns. He starred in From Hell to Texas, directed by Henry Hathaway, and Richard Fleischer's These Thousand Hills. The actor also appeared with the fiery James Cagney in Michael Anderson's political drama titled Shake Hands with the Devil, about the moral complexities of the 1921 Irish Rebellion. God, how long is this article? In 1961, Don Murray starred in and co-scripted the preachy melodrama titled The Hoodlum Priest, based on the true story of a priest who ministered to street gangs. The following year, he had a high-profile role in Otto Preminger's political drama titled Advise and Consent, about the attempt of an ailing president to get his nominee for Secretary of State, played by Henry Fonda, through Senate confirmation. Murray played an ethical senator outraged by the Fonda character's perjury regarding his youthful membership in the Communist Party. But a vile threat by another senator leads Murray's Senator Anderson to commit suicide. Among the many westerns Don Murray appeared in was 1966 The Plainsman, in which he played Wild Bill Hickok. Don Murray tried series regular television, starring in the single-season western titled Outcast in 1968 to 1969, and he guest starred on numerous other shows. In 1969, he starred with Linda Evans in the movie Childish Things, written and produced by Don Murray and co-directed by Evans' new husband, John Derek. He had a supporting role in the Kurt Vonnegut scripted Happy Birthday, Wanda June in 1971. Then he starred with Roddy McDowall and Ricardo Montalban in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes in 1972, which takes place in 1991 on a near-future Earth where all dogs and cats have died. People turn to apes as pets, domesticating them, but then, because of their intelligence, they've become servants and slaves under the regulation of overseer Don Murray, who are led in revolt by Roddy McDowell's character. The New York Times said, quote, Don Murray, Harry Rhodes, and Ricardo Montalban do well on airing the human side, unquote. Now, Don Murray appeared in a long series of TV movies before being cast as the Brooke Shields character's father in the 1981 melodrama Endless Love, which is not a good Valentine's Day movie. It sends a terrible message where the stalker wins. I've talked about it before on the show. On Knots Landing, Don Murray played Sid Fairgate, the first husband of Michelle Lee's character, Karen Cooper, and the owner of Knots Landing Motors car lot. In 1986, he had a support, and he wanted off that show. He demanded they write him off the show. That's why they killed him off at the end of season 2, and then he died on the operating table in the season 3 premiere of Knots Landing in the 1981, fall 81 season premiere. In 1986, Don Murray had a supporting role in Francis Ford Coppola's Peggy Sue Got Married. He starred in the brief NBC comedy titled A Brand New Life opposite Barbara Eden in 1989 to 1990, and he was a series regular in the brief CBS ensemble dramedy titled Sons and Daughters in 1991. Don Murray directed and starred in the 2001 feature Elvis is Alive. Donald Patrick Murray was born in Hollywood, California. His father was a Broadway dance director and stage manager. His mother, a former performer. He studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Don Murray appeared in the original hit 1951 Broadway production of Tennessee Williams' The Rose Tattoo that starred Maureen Stapleton, Edith Bunker, the Dingbat, as Archie called her, and Eli Wallach, one of the on-screen Adam West Batman Mr. Freeze actors. He was an objector during the Korean War and took a 3-year break from acting to assist orphans and war casualties. That's very noble. Oh, there's more. Oh, he next appeared with an also starring credit in a revival of Thornton Wilder's The Skin of Our Teeth that featured both Helen Hayes and Mary Martin, Larry Hagman's mother. J.R. Ewing on TV. TV's J.R. Ewing. After the brief run of the original farce The Hot Corner in 1956, Don Murray moved into film roles and did not return to Broadway until 1973, when he appeared in the original music titled Smith, whose run was also brief. The actor served as a replacement in Bernard Slade's enormously successful two-handler titled Same Time Next Year, which ran for a total of 1,453 performances from 1975 to 1978. Don Murray also served as Ken Howard's. Ken Howard's best known as playing the coach, Coach Reeves, in the White Shadow television show. He also was once the president for a while of the Screen Actors Guild, talking about Ken Howard. But anyway, Don Murray served as Ken Howard's replacement in the role of Tom in Allen's trilogy titled The Norman Conquests. How long is this article? But I want to give credit where credit's due because I thought Don Murray was a great actor and a recognizable face. The actor made his television debut in the early days of the medium in the adaptation of The Taming of the Shrew, which Star Trek remade in an episode titled Elan of Troyes, starring France Nguyen, who also played that role on Broadway in The Taming of the Shrew. And not Elan, but a similar, she played the shrew on Broadway. Anyway, for Studio One in Hollywood that starred Charlton Heston and Lisa Kirk, talking about Taming of the Shrew, Don Murray was a star. And he also appeared in a variety of other episodic anthology shows that were popular in the 1950s. Don Murray married his first wife, actress Hope Lang, during the 1956 production of Bus Stop, in which both were making their film debuts. They were divorced in 1961, and she died in 2003. End of article. Well, Hope Lang, the Ghost and Mrs. Muir. A lot of people may remember her from that. She was a really attractive blonde actress. So I just want to say rest in peace to Don Murray. And hang on a second. I've got to acknowledge I see 22 comments I need to acknowledge. But I want to change my little camera shot really quickly. Get a wide shot. Thank you. Doing this alone is a bitch sometimes. And I want to check something on my audio. I can't hear my clips, darn it. That's not going to work. Okay. We got to move along. And also I've got the nostalgic treat of the week, the nostalgic character actor of the week, and some of my other regular features. But we're going to talk a little bit about Valentine's Day. There are not a lot of Valentine's Day episodes in terms of nostalgic shows that you and I watch and care about. There's a lot of more modern Valentine's Day episodes of more modern shows, but can you think of, I want to know in the comments, what are your favorite Valentine's Day themed episodes? And I'm going to show some images of some Valentine's Day television. This was my thumbnail image of this video. Those that are listening that want to see what I'm talking about, if you're listening at Fistful of Radio out of Atlanta or on Apple or Podbean or Spotify, wherever you might be listening, I would encourage you to go to The Nostalgic, with a C, not nostalgia, it's The Nostalgic Podblast YouTube channel, and you'll see a thumbnail image of the robot from Lost in Space with a female robot who's holding a box of Valentine chocolates. And that's Verda. Verda the robot, played by D. Hartford. And I quickly want to say this actually did not air on Valentine's Day, this Lost in Space episode that introduced this robot. It was called The Android Machine, and it was written by Jackson Gillis. This guy liked to write episodes of Lost in Space that featured Angela Cartwright as Penny. The main writer in Lost in Space, Peter Parker, he fell into the predictable formula and the boring formula of just Smith, Will, and the robot. But Jackson Gillis, right out of the gate in the 7th episode, wrote a story called My Friend Mr. Nobody, which featured Penny, kind of a serious episode. It's before Smith and the show went campy. This is before Batman hit ABC in January 1966. And so Jackson Gillis wrote this where Penny befriends a mysterious force in a cave, right? A black and white episode. And I think he wrote the one, The Magic Mirror. I got to look that up, but I think he wrote The Magic Mirror where Penny has a romance with a boy, an alien boy, played by Michael Pollard, who you might have seen in Bonnie and Clyde. And he was in the original Star Trek. He played John in Miri. He was like the head, in that world where if you're familiar with the original Star Trek, there was an episode where puberty meant a death sentence because adults had experimented with life prolongation and it backfired, and these blue splotches would appear on children and adults when they hit a certain age. Anyway, Michael Pollard, did you know that Michael Pollard also was the real life husband to Beth Howland, who played Vera in Alice, the sitcom that starred Vic Tayback as Mel in Mel's Diner and Linda Lavin. Let me just look this up. I want to look up one thing for you while we're live. I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare, and I've got stuff I got to do. This won't be a long show. I have to mail out some things. I got to go to the post office. Let me see here. I want to tell you when the Android Machine, which you see on the screen, that's a publicity shot from this episode, aired, because it was not a Valentine's theme. That's just for a publicity shot. And they weren't actually a couple in the episode. Actually, the robot was at odds with Vera, because Vera was a little more advanced. She could perform magic tricks, and she was a little bit more refined than the robot, more advanced than the robot. So he felt animosity and jealousy towards Vera. She took my pointer. He used to teach Will, and if you wondered where did they go to school when they were lost on that planet, or those planets and Lost in Space? Well, the robot, it was seen in this episode, the Android Machine, was teaching Will and Penny about... I think the lesson was about the discovering of America. But Smith gets it wrong. He says in 1493, they sailed the deep blue sea. Hang on a second. And not 1492, sailed the ocean blue. Where is that? The Android Machine aired on October 26th, 1966, which was a Wednesday night. 7:30 to 8:30 is always when Lost in Space aired during its 3 original primetime seasons. It always aired Wednesday night from 7:30 to 8:30 before the Beverly Hillbillies. So, yeah. And then she came back, this character of Vera, in an episode titled Revolt of the Androids, which aired on March 8th, 1967. Let me look up something here. Lost in Space, Magic Mirror. I want to see if Jackson Gillis did write that. I'm pretty sure he did. But that was a pretty good episode, a good black and white episode. Let me look it up. Let's see. Yeah, Jackson Gillis, as I suspected. And then he also wrote The Android Machine, as you see on the screen, and that featured Penny heavily because Penny was friends with the lady robot. Right there. Let me see if anyone's talking about heavy metal cartoon. Let's see what your favorite. Let me just back up and put some comments on the screen. Hello! Someone in Facebook says, "Hey, Chance." I'll go on Facebook and identify who that is. Now, I don't know what Wood Train's talking about. Everyone, have a great day, but please pray for the 5-year-old child shot at Joel Osteen's megachurch yesterday in Houston. Holy cow, I haven't seen the news today. That's terrible. Well, he owes that family some loot, and he certainly can afford to hand it out in that Prosperity Church. Wasn't that Los Angeles? Yeah, you mean in Planet of the Apes? Yeah, I was joking about downtown. There's a lot of crime in downtown Atlanta. You're talking about Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, right? Probably. Hello, Chance. First time I met you face to face online. Well, I need to go on Facebook and see who that is. Hello, Podblast. Hello to you, U812. That's a clever name for a YouTube channel. And Danny says hello back to you, Danny Staten in South Carolina. I love it when new people pop in. Do you know Sarah? You should see her channel, My Flock. She's got a lot of fun stuff on there. A little more edgy than my show, a little more adult, but fun nevertheless, and funny. You'll be laughing. It's funny, funny, funny on Sarah's channel. She's in Southern California. Let's see here. And I'm sorry, I think people tuned out with that Don Murray. Look, I like Don Murray's acting, and it didn't get a lot of press. He actually passed away several days ago, but I just saw the article yesterday, and I was surprised. Actually, you know how I found out? I found out through Victoria Principal's Instagram. She had posted about his passing yesterday, and I had not seen anything in the media. Okay, so I think I'm about caught up on the comments. What's up, Facebooker? Now I need to go to Facebook and identify who might be watching live on Facebook. Let's see here. I'm going to play a couple clips, so I need to get my bearings. There were a couple interesting birthdays today. Oh, but let me get this out of the way because we're not a sports show. We got to talk about this incident in the Super Bowl. Now, you've heard of roid rage, like steroid rage. Well, listen, I'm not getting political, but this could be, JAB rage. What happened here? This is inexcusable behavior of any player to their head coach. Let me just read a quick article. Of course, you know who won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs did. Big surprise. But Travis Kelce sort of had a little tantrum against head coach Andy Reid. And look at that. I mean, it looked even worse on video. The Kansas City Chiefs are obviously Super Bowl champions for the third time in the past 5 seasons, but it sure as hell wasn't looking that way in the first half against the San Francisco 49ers in Las Vegas in the Super Bowl 2024. Well, Travis had a little sideline meltdown where he almost knocked over his head coach. I saw it. Did you see it? A lot of people may not be sports fans or watch the Super Bowl, and that's fine. But I watched it, and I couldn't believe it. And that's Taylor Swift's, man, what the hell? Talk about he just stubbed his toe PR-wise with that one. Big time. That image will not go away anytime soon. So Kelce spoke to ESPN's, get this, Booger, I'm not making this up, Booger McFarland about the incident where the star tight end was screaming at Reid following a fumble in the red zone. Well, I'm going to leave it at that because I don't buy his excuse, and we're not a sports show, but I just thought, man, we do know after the decades of research on steroids, at first everyone thought steroids were just fine and dandy. Then we found out about the side effects, the shrunken penises, the vein is exploding. Look, I'm just saying this could be could be a side effect because he's paid and bought and paid for by Pfizer. He just is. That's a fact. Travis is. Wow. Look at that. Or he could just be an asshole. Oh, sorry, family show. He could just be an asshole. I'm not a medical man, and I'm going to step off that subject, but that's ridiculous. That's absolutely inexcusable behavior on the sideline. So let's move on to some more fun talk. I've got some weird Valentine stuff to go over. There was a weird Valentine's Day horror movie called My Bloody Valentine. That's my laser disc of it. And it was shot in Canada. It was released by Paramount Pictures. And there's a terrible gross out scene where this dude opens up a box of chocolates thinking it's chocolate hearts, and it's a bunch of human hearts in a box. But I'm going to play the trailer for those that haven't seen it. This is a nostalgic trailer to My Bloody Valentine. And we're going to get back. We're not going dark. This is the darkest the show will get. We're going to talk about happy Valentine stuff and happy nostalgia stuff. I got the icky stuff out of the way. Don Murray passing, the Super Bowl meltdown by Kelsey. And I want to play this trailer, and then I can take a little break and have a little Three Musketeers mini. Let me just get to the trailer right about now. Oh, where did I stick that thing? Where did I put that trailer? Shoot. I may not have uploaded it, so I'll upload it right now. Okay, it's uploading. I appreciate everyone being there on a busy work day. It's a busy Mondays. We're live. Usually I'm on Friday nights after the work day is done to kick off the weekend. So I just want, like I said, pop on and talk about some of the nostalgic issues that have popped up. Some major birthdays, like Tina Louise turning 90, and that caused a little controversy online. People were very unkind to her, insulting her for how she looks today at the age of 90. I thought that was very uncouth, very low class of some people, and it was mostly men doing that. And I was just really embarrassed, and I won't say I was offended because I don't offend easily, but I was disappointed in some of the comments from people. Really was. All right, here's the trailer to My Bloody Valentine, released in 1981 by Paramount Pictures.
It's a bad time, this time of year.
How many times is he gonna tell this story?
Oh, let him tell it. I love fairy tales.
This ain't no fairy tale, little girl. If you don't take it seriously, you're a fool!
The first Valentine's dance in 20 years has to be something special.
Look, Landers, you gotta get a lot of exercise if you're gonna grapple with Gretchen.
Oh, yeah? Well, I got a Valentine for her that she's never gonna forget. Right to the heart, huh?
In this town on Valentine's Day, everybody loses their heart.
Roses are red, violets are blue. One is dead, and so are you.
It can't be happening again.
No!
It can't be happening again.
What's going on over in Valentine Bluffs? It looks like Harry Warden's back in town.
It happened once. It happened twice. Cancel the dance or it'll happen twice.
In the town of Valentine Bluffs, there are many ways to die. Take your pick. My Bloody Valentine.
Take your pick. So, I guess I should pull up. Oh, I want to acknowledge now. I went to Facebook and I want to acknowledge some really nice people. Oh, I know this person doesn't like me to mention their name, but hello to you. It says, hello, Chance. This is the first time I met you face to face online. Hello to you, sir, who shall remain nameless. Hello to Joe Byrne. He says, what's up? Hello to Mary Smith. I appreciate everyone taking time out of your busy day to check out the show. Thank you. Hello to Kim Ponder. Hey, Kim. Kim Ponder's watching on Facebook Live. Appreciate you being here. So we're just talking about some Valentine's Day nostalgia. Now, I've got a controversial question for you. What's the best conversation heart manufacturer in terms of the candy? Brachs or Necco, like Necco wafers? Which ones do you like best? That's my nostalgic treat of the week, are conversation hearts. And did you like the small ones or the larger ones that Brachs make? And here's some nostalgia. I should have pulled this image. I miss the Brachs candy cart with the honor system at the grocery store back in the 80s. Like there'd be a jar where you'd put change in and there'd be a little bag. Now, there were two ways you could pay for your candy. And I love the little caramel squares by Brachs. You could have it weighed, or they had an honor system for a sample where you just put change in a jar. And I always would put a penny in, and I think they cost 5 cents each, and I would always cheat. I'm bad. I would cheat, but I like the Brachs candies, and you don't see that anymore. At least I don't. Do you have that in your area, the Brachs cart? But I gotta say, when I grew up, I loved the Brachs conversation hearts because they were kind of like chalky, and they tasted like candy cigarettes. I used to love candy cigarettes. And like the green and the pink conversation heart by Brachs would taste like a candy cigarette to me. But as I got older, I like the Necco wafers, which are kind of harder on your teeth. They're not as chalky, not as soft when you bite them, but they taste more like a candy cigarette. The Necco wafers do, actually, than the Brachs, but both kind of have a candy cigarette taste. I loved candy cigarettes. Danny Staten says that Scream Factory logo will get you in trouble. Trust me. Uh-oh. Did not know that. And Dan's also saying, I got to talk about his YouTube channel. He says he just put that trailer up last night on Shock Theater. And here is one of his other channels. His main channel is the Daily Dan blog on YouTube. That's Dan in South Carolina. I will check it out. If I haven't subscribed, I will, and I'll look at some of your content. Very cool. Let's see here. So let me look at some other images I had for you that's nostalgic. Oh, we already talked about that. But, you know, I didn't mention, well, I mentioned it was released in 1981. Let me just look up the box office. I usually would have this prepared in advance, but I just whipped this show together, and I've got it wraps, not maybe in half an hour or so, because I have got to run some errands today and mail some stuff off, some comic books and stuff. Okay, it was remade in 2009 as My Bloody Valentine 3D, but we're talking about the original movie. It was released on February 11th, 1981. Had a no-name director, but and no-name writer, really. Stephen Miller wrote the story. Let me look at the box office really quickly, because we are a time capsule here on this show, the Nostalgic Podblast. Well, the budget was $2.3 million. It made $5.7 million, so it made a few million bucks. So that's not a failure. That's not a huge blockbuster, but that's definitely not a failure. And well, really, you know, kicked all that off. The horror genre obviously was Halloween, but then the first Friday the 13th by Steve Miner. John Carpenter really got the ball rolling. There wasn't a whole lot of gore. There was a little bit in Halloween. I hate it when Michael Myers stabbed the German Shepherd. I hated that. That's the scene that pains me to watch to this day, even though you know it's not real. No animals were harmed in the making of that film, but still, I just hate that because I love animals. But let me look up the box office of the 2009. I got it right here. 2009, My Bloody Valentine 3D. I hated the Friday the 13th remake in that same year, 2009. Of the first film with Pamela Voorhees as the killer, the mother. Hated it. It was terrible. Nowhere as good as the first film. Of course, the first film isn't Masterpiece Theater, but, you know, it was a bunch of college kids that got together with Tom Savini makeup And they put together something pretty damn special. They really did. And they got Betsy Palmer, who used to be a beautiful model, and she was on a lot of live game shows like I've Got a Secret. She was a panelist, and she was a beautiful lady, looked nothing like she did later. They really changed her appearance very effectively in that movie. And plus, she'd aged a little bit. But My Bloody Valentine 3D was released on January 16th, 2009. It's only 101 minutes long, but it was a major success. Its budget was $14 million, but it made $100.7 million at the box office. And it was produced by Lionsgate. So, wow. Yeah, it did well. It really did. Let me see if there's any other comments here. And the other day was National Pizza Day. I meant to show you this image of Linda Carter before she was, I think I did show it. Yeah, before she starred as Wonder Woman with promoting Shakey's Pizza. A whole lot of shaking going on in that picture. That's for damn sure. Let's see here. We got... There's just not a lot of Valentine's Day classic television episodes that I can think of, unless it's something I didn't really watch, like Dick Van Dyke Show. Let me look and see what you have to say. Can you remember any Valentine's Day, which is sweeps weeks in terms of ratings? There's November and February and May, in some cases, what they call rating sweeps weeks on television, at least before streaming. And that's where they put the best episodes on the air to get the best ratings. They can charge more advertising rates to their advertisers to make more money. Oh, I didn't turn my sign on. And that's called sweeps week. So February 14th, of course, falls during the February sweeps week. So I'm surprised there weren't more shows pertaining to the storyline of Valentine's Day in classic TV. Cooking with Silence is here. How you doing? Says good kickback podcast for catching the bus too. Well, thank you. I always like when people comment, so I know that someone else is out there and I'm not just sitting here jaw-jacking by myself. I can't watch myself. That's worse than masturbating. You know, if you sit there and watch yourself. Now, I will review a show for the clips to check the audio and the video, but I can't watch myself. So why should I expect you to watch and listen to me? I guess that's kind of dumb for me to say. Let's see here. The other day, I had posted an image in the Nostalgic Podblast Facebook group of these long-lost candy bars. This is a 1977 comic book ad. It actually was out in a January 1978 comic book, Power Man and Iron Fist issue 50 is where I took this picture from. Do you remember these candies? Clark Coconut, Clark Peanut Butter Log, Clark Crunchy Peanut Butter, Zagnut, as Chris Caben said in chat in the Nostalgic Podblast, said, that's fun to say, Zagnut. Indeed it is. Then you had Clark Mint, and then the classic Clark Bar. And the Clark Bar came along first in 1917. And it was copied by Butterfinger and the Fifth Avenue Bar down the line. Let me just read some historical information about the Clark Bar. I know I said that Conversation Hearts would be my nostalgic treat of the week, but I do want to talk about this just briefly here. The Clark candy bars. These weren't favorites, I guess, by many. That's why they don't really exist anymore. You don't really see them. Now, the Cracker Barrel will have some of the old Clark products, but they're not really the same. I mean, they're not made by the same people, but it's better than nothing. So you can find them. And of course, on Amazon, you can find some really rare treats. Like I used to love the cherry Tic Tacs. And my sister, who has a birthday on February 20th, she got me those from Amazon. I used to love those. They used to have a berry-flavored Tic Tac. And I used to love when they would split back in like 1979. I was a little kid. I remember it vividly. There'd be like a little plastic divider in the Tic Tac container. And it divided the orange Tic Tacs from the cherry Tic Tacs. And the orange Tic Tacs, of course, are still around. But I really liked the cherry flavor. So talking about Clark bars, that ad, of course, is from 1977. I know I already said that. And it was introduced in 1917 by David L. Clark, and it was manufactured originally in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But during and after both World Wars, these candy bars were extremely popular. In 1923, the copycat candy bar Butterfinger by Curtis hit the scene. And then in 1936, Luden's introduced the Fifth Avenue bar, which used to have almonds in them. And Luden's also made those cough drops, those cherry cough drops. They were more like candy than anything else, I think. So there you have that. And Thrash Pondo Pons had commented on that post of mine. Bob in Massachusetts State, he made a joke. Where is this little joke? It was kind of cute. He said, or kind of funny. Guys don't call each other cute. He said, the Dave Clark 5 plus 1. Yeah, because there's 6 candy bars there, not the Clark 5. That was kind of a funny analogy there from Thrash Pondo Pons, who has a YouTube channel. Let me now go to some other clips. Let's see what I have here. I think we should talk about some birthdays. And some comments have come on the screen there, have appeared, materialized. There's quite a few people watching. A lot of people are watching live on YouTube and on Twitter and on Facebook Live, and I appreciate every one of you. Valentine's Day. Let's see what else I have. It's Valentine's-y. Oh, another thing about Don Murray. I am jumping all over the place. I meant to show this. Oh, I don't think I have it. Well, I wanted to mention he's also the dead guy in the opening credits to Matlock, seasons 2 through 6, where you see Susan Stafford's credit, and you see a dead body laying on the ground. That's Don Murray, who had acted in an episode they shot in England in season 2 of Matlock. That's him. The only episode he ever appeared in. I want to talk about our nostalgic character actor of the week, and then I have some key birthdays. Here is our nostalgic character actor of the week in action in a pretty iconic ad campaign from the 70s.
Marcel, I would like your very finest cheese.
If you appreciate great cheese taste, you'll like nacho cheese flavored Doritos brand tortilla chips. Nacho cheese flavor. The crunch says Doritos. The flavor says cheese. Nacho cheese Doritos brand tortilla chips, one of 3 great flavors.
Marvelous joust, Avery. Refreshments for the victor.
When it comes to great cheese flavor, there's one snack that'll win your heart. Nacho cheese flavored Doritos brand tortilla chips. So for a snack with the great flavor of cheese, try nacho cheese Doritos. They taste as good as they crunch.
That's Avery Schreiber. He had a great endorsement deal with Frito-Lay to promote Doritos. He also appeared on a lot of game shows in the 70s, such as Match Game, and he was really funny, and he could do some really interesting cartooning work on the little card. He would do drawings, and sometimes he would even eat his card on Match Game. Got a clip from Match Game, 3 minutes, 55 seconds long, kind of funny, kind of amusing.
Here we are. We were just doing a little fashion show during the commercial break there, and now we're ready to carry on here and wish both of you ladies the best of luck and ask Deonza to make her selection.
B.
B it is. Everybody plays, and this is it. The flight instructor said to the student pilot, "Congratulations! You're the first pilot to ever fly a 747 in New York City and landed on the blank."
The Statue of Liberty?
They like that one. Did you bring a lot of friends with you?
Yes.
Where are the friends of Deonza? Oh, they're all over the place, aren't they? They're in the back row and the second row and all over. Okay. And that's your boyfriend there?
Mm-hmm.
The fellow with the...
ex-boyfriend.
With the blonde roots? Okay, Avery. She said...
Wait until you see Avery's answer. You're
I can
not
hardly
going
wait.
to
Wait,
believe it.
Avery, you have a glazed look.
The plane got up in the air.
How?
Well, it landed on the grass.
It landed on the grass? Let's hold a shot on him and see if he swallows it. Should we hold a shot and see if he swallows it? No, let's not be that cruel. Well, get off him. He's going to swallow it. And then we'll have to stop, Bell. Come on now. Brett, show us your answer. Panda Brett, now stop that.
Come on over, hon.
Panda Brett, move that camera over there. Do what I tell you to do. I'm the star of this show. I tell you, you move that camera. I say you move that camera. Move that camera
Move that
over
camera.
there. When I say,
You tell
when
him,
I say
fat
move the
lady.
camera, I want you to move the camera over there.
You're so strong.
All right, Brett, show us your answer. He ate it. Brett.
You know why I like doing this show?
Why?
Because I'm a very organized, rigid person.
Yeah.
And I like the kind of scheduling that goes
Right.
on.
The discipline.
And the discipline and all that. I said he landed on the moon!
Terrific.
That's right, my fans are yay.
Charles.
Answer.
What do you... now, Charles is on Dignity.
Hello, dear.
I'm on what, baby? I said the same thing as the chick next to me. Hi, sweetheart. I said on the moon, if anyone boos, I'm gonna not say a word.
I was in the mood isn't a bad answer. If the guy was an inept pilot, that's reasonable, right, Lana?
Well, I have an inept answer.
You do?
Is the Eiffel Tower in New York?
The Eiffel Tower is not in New York. No. You
Is
missed
the
it.
Empire State Building?
The Empire State Building.
Oh, it's Statue of Liberty.
The flight instructor said to the student pilot, congratulations, your first pilot ever fly 747 New York City and landed on the Statue of Liberty, according to Dionza. What according to you, Sir Richard?
If it says brass, I'm quitting.
Well, it's for you, Avery.
Stop there.
Your favorite flavor? I said Empire State Building.
You said Empire State Building.
Well, we were so close.
That's right. That's close. You had the right idea, Dionza, but we haven't scored a match yet. Now, what do you say, Joyce Blower the Frog?
I say I'm afraid to show my answer.
Now get ready to
Good
boo,
reason,
because this
I'll
may
bet.
be another winner.
It's another booer.
All right. All together
it's
now.
a mooner.
Another mooner. Okay. And while the audience is expressing their hostilities, we will pause for this commercial message. Don't boo the commercial now.
So that's Avery Schreiber eating his card there. Oh, Danny, he says, this was boring 40 years ago. Still is. Oh, man. I love it. I want to acknowledge some folks that are here really quickly, and then I'm going to talk about Avery Schreiber. Cooking with Silence says, save your ideas for future podcasts about the podcast. Jim's Camera at Dawn says, Zagnut and Clark bars were in a lot of ads. Yes, they were. A lot of print ads. And Polar Kaiju says, howdy. Hello to you. And Jim's Camera at Dawn said, greetings, everyone. And Sarah said, hello back. Hello, Polar. Hello, everybody. And then Danny Staten says, I ordered a stupid book on Amazon, and they sent me 500 boxes of stupid books giveaway coming soon. Okay, you're going to give away some of the 500 books they sent you, I gather, is what you're saying there. That's funny. Uh-oh. Well, I guess the stream went down temporarily. Oh, well. That's a shame. I guess because of Match Game. I'm surprised that Match Game had an issue. It'll be back, as Arnold Schwarzenegger said. We'll be back. I'm putting all the comments on the screen in the meantime. So let's talk about Avery Schreiber. Avery Schreiber was born as Avery Lawrence Schreiber on Tuesday, April 9th, 1935. And he obviously was a comedian and an actor, and he was a veteran of stage, television, and movies who came to prominence in the 1960s in a comedy duo with Jack Burns. He acted in an array of roles, mostly on television sitcoms and a series of popular advertisements for Doritos tortilla chips, as we saw. Avery Schreiber was born in Chicago, Illinois, the son of Minnie and George Schreiber. He started his career in Chicago in the Goodman Theater. He joined the Second City troupe and later teamed with Jack Burns to form the comedy team of Burns and Schreiber. They recorded several comedy albums and appeared on numerous television shows. Avery Schreiber was of the Jewish faith. Schreiber is remembered for his many Doritos commercials during the 1970s and the 1980s, as well as his appearances on several television series. He was in a Fall Guy I have. I'm always talking about the Fall Guy starring Lee Majors, but he was in the season 4 premiere episode titled Finders Keepers, Losers Weepers. I think it's called Finders Keepers. I'll look it up. It's either called Finders Keepers or Losers Weepers. I think it's Losers Weepers. And Frank Gorshin's in that episode. Don Adams is in that episode. Jimmy Walker's in that episode. All these big stars and former stars are in that Fall Guy season 4 premiere. That wasn't the first one that was shot for season 4. The first one shot for season 4 was an episode called Sandcastles, centered around Heather Thomas in Hawaii. And she falls in love with a dude who's a bail jumper who has fake plates to make $100 bills. Anyway, I digress. And Avery Schreiber's in that episode. Oh, the first aired episode, not the one where Heather Thomas has the romance. Sandcastles. He was in Losers Weepers. And Dick Shawn's in that episode too. That's a character actor. I know hardly anybody out there who's watching or listening will know who I'm talking about, but Dick Shawn was in that Fall Guy. Of course, I have it on film. I got them all on film. That's actually an entertaining episode, especially for Frank Gorshin playing a disgruntled hotel manager. It's an episode about a scavenger hunt for treasure, and a rumor breaks out that the treasure's buried in one of the hotel rooms. So everyone starts digging up their hotel room. And Frank Gorshin, who played the Riddler, of course, in Adam West's Batman, most of the time, as did, oh my gosh, Gomez Adams himself was the worst Riddler in Adam West's Batman. All pot-bellied and just wasn't right. Talking about John Astin. But getting back to this damn Fall Guy with Avery Schreiber in the cast, with Frank Gorshin, the best Riddler, he's trying to get everyone to quit digging for the treasure and tearing up the landscaping in the rooms in the hotel. He's like, stop digging! And he had that energy that he had as the Riddler in the 60s in 1984. He still had it. But you could tell his voice kind of wavered. He was a chain smoker, and he had a really bad smoker's voice. He sounded like he had emphysema in that Fall Guy episode, but he still could act. In 1965, Avery Schreiber played the role of Captain Manzini in My Mother the Car that we talked about, Sarah and I, in the worst television shows ever made. Jerry Van Dyke, Dick Van Dyke's brother, starred in My Mother the Car. It lasted only one season, 1965 to 1966, in color, about a guy who had a car with his reincarnated mother. Her soul was in the car and was talking to him through the car. Anyway, in the summer of 1973, Avery Schreiber co-hosted the ABC comedy The Burns and Schreiber Comedy Hour. He was a regular guest star on the situation comedy Chico and the Man. And that was sad. Jack Albertson was in the cast, but Freddie Prinze Sr. committed suicide. He couldn't handle the fame, reportedly, and he took his own life in the height of that show. Also in the cast was Scatman Crothers, a great actor you saw in The Shining and Zapped and Twilight Zone, the movie. A great black actor. He was one of my favorites. He passed away, sadly, in 1986, a long time ago. But Avery Schreiber was in Chico and the Man, and he was also a frequent guest panelist on Match Game, as you saw in that clip. And he was a guest in a first season episode of The Muppet Show, which streams on Disney+, in a bit written by his former partner, Jack Burns, whom he mentioned during a stand-up routine in that episode of The Muppet Show. In addition, Avery Schreiber participated in the 1980 Tournament of Celebrities on the Jim Perry-hosted version of Card Sharks, the game show. He appeared on The Love Boat in Season 8, Episode 13, in a Christmas episode, which originally aired on December 15th, 1984. Almost done here. Avery Schreiber's movie appearances include The Monitors, the first film production of Chicago's Second City comedy troupe in 1969. He was in Don't Drink the Water in 1969. Deadhead Miles in 1972. Swashbuckler in 1976. I'm going to put his image on the screen really quickly. I should have done that. I'm going to put his picture I'd pulled of Avery. There's Avery with his beloved Doritos that made him a mint. in endorsement cash. So after Deadhead Miles, he was in The Swashbuckler in 1976, the last remake of Beau Geste in 1977, Concord, Airport 79, he was in Silent Scream, also in 1979, Scavenger Hunt in 1979, Caveman in 1981. That's the movie where Barbara Bach met her husband, former Beatle, Ringo Starr. He was in Jimmy the Kid in 1983 and Robin Hood Men in Tights in 1993. Avery Schreiber continued to work in film, television, and theater, as well as teaching improvisational theater techniques up until the time of his death. He taught master classes at the Second City in Chicago and in Los Angeles, California. SCTV. And of course, Toronto has a branch of Second City. He and his wife, Rochelle, had 2 children. In 1994, Avery Schreiber suffered a heart attack resulting from complications from diabetes. Although he survived triple coronary artery bypass surgery, he never fully recovered. He died of another heart attack on Monday, January 7th, 2002, at a medical center. He was 66 when he passed away. So that's my character actor of the week, the great Avery Schreiber. And I love these, the sour cream and onion Doritos, which I think hit the scene in 1979 when I was a kid. They were really good. Now, yeah, I agree. Men in Tights is funny, says Sarah. And she says, rest in peace. Agreed. Let's see. What are your... Again, I cannot think of any mainstream episodes of classic TV shows that had Valentine's Day themes. But I do have a list of some more modern ones. I'll just mention some because we're a nostalgia show. Let's see here. I bet That Girl... I never liked That Girl. No offense to Marlo Thomas and Ted Bessel, who played her boyfriend, Donald. I just never really related to that show. So maybe there was a Valentine's episode of That Girl. I don't know. That's not in my wheelhouse. But there were a lot of Valentine's Day television specials. Oh, and I want to talk about the origin of Valentine's Day really quickly, and I'll just go over some of the specials. Now, I was asking about TV scripted themes of beloved TV shows that had a Valentine's Day theme. Maybe the Brady Bunch. I think there was a Brady Bunch, maybe. I don't know. But I couldn't believe the Patty Duke Show didn't have a Valentine's Day episode. Anyway, Valentine's Day, also called Saint Valentine's Day or the Feast of Saint Valentine, is celebrated obviously on February 14th every year. It originated as a Christian feast day, honoring a martyr named Valentine, and through later folk traditions, it also became a significant cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of romance and love in many regions around the world. There's a number of martyrdom stories associated with various St. Valentines connected to February 14th, including an account of the imprisonment of St. Valentine of Rome for ministering to Christians persecuted under the Roman Empire in the 3rd century. According to an early tradition, St. Valentine restored sight to the blind daughter of his jailer. Numerous later additions to the legend have better related it to the theme of love, a tradition that maintains that St. Valentine performed weddings for Christian soldiers who were forbidden to marry by the Roman emperor. An 18th century embellishment to the legend claims that he wrote the jailer's daughter a letter signed "Your Valentine" as a farewell before his execution. 8th century. In the 8th century, there's a recorded celebration of the Feast of St. Valentine on February 14th. The day became associated with romantic love in the 14th and 15th centuries when notions of courting love flourished, apparently by association with the lovebirds of early spring. In 18th century England, it grew into an occasion for couples to express their love for each other by presenting flowers, offering confections, and sending greeting cards known as Valentines. Valentine's Day symbols that are used today include the heart-shaped outline doves, and the figure of the winged Cupid. In the 19th century, handmade cards gave way to mass-produced greetings. In Italy, St. Valentine's keys are given to lovers as a romantic symbol and an invitation to unlock, real good chance, unlock the giver's heart, as well as given to children to ward off epilepsy. That's called St. Valentine's malady. I did not know that. St. Valentine's Day is not a public holiday in any country, although it is an official feast day in the Anglican Communion and the Lutheran Church. Many parts of the Eastern Orthodox Church also celebrate St. Valentine's Day on July 6th in honor of the Roman St. Valentine, and on July 30th in honor of Hiomartyr Valentine, the Bishop of Interamna, modern Temi. Well, that's all I got to say about that. It goes on and on and on, but you get the drift. That's the true origin of Valentine's Day. Now, in terms of Valentine's Day specials, there was in the 101 Dalmatians, the series in 1997, there was an episode Love 'Em and Flee 'Em. And also that same year, Valentine's Days. Let me just go through some notable ones. There was a Change of Heart episode of Adventures in Wonderland in 1993. I'm just going to skim through this list, find ones that are at least 30 years old. DuckTales, A Duck's Valentine, an animated show. James Tim Walker, friend of the Podblast, did the animation on that show, and that was in 1990. So you have some children's programming certainly geared towards Valentine's. I was talking about live action, maybe shows like the Beverly Hillbillies or Petticoat Junction, things like that, like live action entertainment, primarily geared at adults that dealt with Valentine's Day. But the Flintstones had several Valentine's Day themed episodes, including The Engagement Ring in 1960, Love Letters on the Rocks, and also in 1960, Fred Flintstone Woos Again in 1961, Latin Lover in 1962, and Yabba Dabba Doo in 1993 in a Flintstones revival show. And let me just quickly go through the list again of Valentine's Day themed television shows that you may have heard of and that may be beloved to you. I'm sure Friends did one, but I didn't watch Friends that much. Or Fiends, as I call it. Let me just see here. I think I'll play a clip. I'll play a clip while I go through this list so I'm not just sitting there humming awkwardly. I'm going to play a clip, and hopefully this won't get me taken down, of Avery Schreiber. I want to play another funny bit of Avery Schreiber. This clip is not too long. The character actor of the week. And then I have some $6 Million Man bloopers that I uncovered. I know Sarah and I did a show about television bloopers, but I forgot to play the $6 Million Man blooper, so I'm going to do that now. All right, here's Jack Burns, the partner of Avery Schreiber, in a 3-minute clip.
Oh, Doctor, you have one more patient who's waiting to see you.
That's funny, nurse. I don't have him scheduled here on my appointment pad.
Well, it's not a scheduled appointment, but perhaps you should see him anyway.
Nurse Proctor, I'm a psychiatrist. My time is valuable. Now just tell whoever it is if they wish to see me to come back some other time.
But I think you should see him now. He thinks he's a balloon.
A balloon?
Yes, sir.
Nurse Proctor, have you been into the rubbing alcohol again?
Oh, no, Doctor. I mean, this is the truth. He's bouncing all over the reception area.
Now, this is ludicrous. Very well, send him in. How can a man think he's a balloon? I mean, it's the dumbest thing ever.
Thank you, man. The fan. Doctor, turn off the fan. Hey! Turn off the fan, Doctor.
Very easy.
Thank you, Doctor.
Good. Now, just fine. All right, now, just relax now. No one's going to hurt you. You're Mr.
Looney.
Looney.
Easy,
All
easy.
right. Fine, Mr. Looney. Now, my name is Dr. Siegfried. Now, I understand that you think you're a balloon.
I am a balloon.
Well, that's ridiculous, sir. No one is a balloon.
Well, then you're not a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I have a certificate that says that I'm a psychiatrist.
Well, you want to see where my knot is tied? I'm a a balloon.
Yeah, sure. You know, Mr. Balloony.
Yes.
Mr. Balloony.
Yeah.
Oh, easy to heavy gas there.
Yes,
Yes. I want to help you, but you must be more cooperative and admit that you only think you're a balloon, you see?
No, I know I'm a balloon.
No, of course not. Look, why don't you just sit down, all right? Just sit down here. Make yourself comfortable.
I'm on the way. It's all right. Thank you. There we go. Yeah.
Fine, good. Mr. Fine, yes. Now, why don't we see if we can't discover where this extraordinary fantasy began, all right?
Okay.
Now, as a small child...
It's a baby balloon.
That's all right. As a baby balloon.
Yeah.
At this period of your life, did your father ever take you to the circus?
All the time.
But did he buy you a balloon?
No, it was the deflation. He couldn't afford it.
I see. And so you'd sit at the circus surrounded by these young boys and girls whose more affluent moms and dads had bought them multicolored balloons. You become angry. And you identify with the balloon. You're suffering from what we call the balloon urge rejection syndrome typical.
Yeah.
The BURST or the...
The burst?
Right, yeah, all
I
right.
can't stand it.
All right. Easy. Now, when your father wouldn't buy you the balloon, what did you say to him?
I say to him, Pop! Pop!
You see, the night a balloon as a child, you as an adult would, through transference, become a balloon. It's a very simple diagnosis.
What is it?
You're crazy as a loon.
I'm not crazy, Doctor. I'm a balloon.
All right. Mr. Balloony, if you were a balloon, you would talk like a balloon, and who ever heard of a talking balloon?
I can talk like a balloon.
You can? Mr. Balloony, fine. Look, this is, This is ridiculous. Now, I want to help you, but first you must help yourself. Let's see if we can pinpoint your problem and what is it? What is it, Mr.
Murderer.
What do you want me to do? Huh?
Finger.
What do you want me to do?
Blowing the finger.
Yes.
You did that very well, Doctor.
Yes, fine. Here, I want you to call this number.
Yeah, who is it?
The Goodyear blimp. She was in here yesterday. I think the two of you will be very happy. All right.
Thank you, Doctor.
Kind of silly, not really laugh out loud funny. Had some really good comments come in while that clip was playing. Hello to Terrell. What's going on? Terrell Eugene Bellinger says, hi, Chance. Happy Valentine's Week. Happy Valentine's Week to you. And he had a great fact here. He says, in 1974, ABC aired The Muppets Valentine's Show, which I think served as the original pilot for what would eventually become The Muppet Show. How about that? That's pretty darn cool. Let me see if I hopefully didn't miss anything. And hello to Ben Compton. Ben's out there watching. He was referring to when the stream went down on YouTube, I guess because of the match game clip. And he says, will he be back? Oh, they said he will be back. Yeah, well, I'm back. It did come back. I'm always confident it'll come back. I just got to do a little talking in between the clips. You know what I'm saying? And also Terrell said, I remember when Avery Schreiber had a guest spot as a teacher on Saved by the Bell during his later years. Indeed. Now, I do remember that because I'm guilty of watching Saved by the Bell. And Sarah says, balloon talk. Yeah, that was kind of a silly clip. That's kind of like old school comedy right there. So, I do want to acknowledge, there's so much good stuff in this segment. Let me just find my usual music for birthdays. Yeah, we're going to do some birthdays, and I'm going to try to play my birthday music in the background as I go over these. One that really upset me in terms of the comments was Tina Louise's birthday. I'm going to put an image on the screen of Tina Louise, who turned 90. Keep that in mind. She turned 90. And people were just really cruel. A few men, not necessarily on my group, the Nostalgic Podblast on Facebook, but other groups. I couldn't believe it. Look here. Look here. Tina Louise, there she is on the left, obviously in Gilligan's Island as Ginger Grant, the actress. And there she is on the right at 90 years of age, or 89 years of age. Now, obviously she's changed, but it's an accomplishment to make it to age 90. I think it's cruel to make fun of people's appearance. And she's in show business, you know? I mean, you've got to keep up your appearances. If something went wrong, it went wrong. I mean, I hear you, you know, she doesn't look the same, but she's 90. Cut her some slack, please. I beg of thee. But let me just read to you some information about Tina Louise. And then I have some video clips of another birthday gal. Now, her birthday was yesterday on Super Bowl Sunday. Let me just find it here. Tina Louise. All right. She, of course, is the only original surviving cast member of Gilligan's Island. Her birth name, though, was Tina Blacker. Born in New York on Sunday, February 11th, 1934. And she got her first major acting break in the 1958 film titled God's Little Acre. But history remembers Tina as Ginger Grant in 98 episodes of the sitcom Gilligan's Island, which aired on CBS, which aired on CBS between Saturday, September 26, 1964, and Monday, September 4th, 1967, which was a rerun, but it counts. Tina declined to participate in 3 Gilligan's Island reunion TV movies, which aired on NBC between Saturday, October 14th, 1978, in which the castaways were finally rescued, and Friday, May 15th, 1981, which had Martin Landau and Barbara Bain in The Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island in that final cast reunion. But they recast Ginger for that because Tina Louise had moved on and done Dallas. She was in the first couple seasons of Dallas as JR's secretary. She was killed off. She got thrown from a roof of a building by bad guys in season 2 of Dallas. And she was in the pilot of Dallas as well, playing Julie Gray. So happy birthday to you. And now I've got a couple more birthdays to go over, some nostalgic ones of today. We got a double Bond girl I want to talk about, Maud Adams, and I'm going to play some of her trailers. Let me pause that birthday music. I've got a switch. I want to play a clip of Maud Adams as a Bond girl in 2 007 movies. First, she was in Roger Moore's second movie, The Man with the Golden Gun. And then she was Octopussy 10 years later in the movie of the same name. Let's watch the trailer to The Man with the Golden Gun really quickly. 007.
What do you know about a man called Scaramanga?
The man with the golden gun. He always uses a golden bullet.
This trinket is sent with a note requesting special delivery to you.
I've never seen Mr. Scaramanga. Mr. Bond, this is impossible. I can't...
I can't tell you. Don't kill me.
Who?
Scaramanga.
Roger Moore, back in action in the exotic East as James Bond, 007, on a collision course with the most dangerous man alive. The man with the golden gun.
Hold on, sir.
James Bond, on the job. The girls are willing.
Dreamed about you setting me free.
The pace is killing.
Stay in there, good night. We've got you spotted. How about a demonstration, boy? Certainly, sir.
You'll meet old friends and new enemies. It's non-stop Bond. The action is spectacular,
You're not. I sure am, boy.
reaching a new high for 007.
Bonjour, Monsieur Bond. I am Nick-Nack. Monsieur Scaramanga will welcome you personally.
The target is the highest-priced killer in the world. He plays a deadly game, and the stakes are sky high.
I love that logo at the end, United Artists. Now, Amazon owns the James Bond films. Now, we had some really cool comments come on the screen. Let's see. Some interesting facts going back to Jack Burns. Terrell says Jack Burns was the replacement for Don Knotts on the 6th season of the Andy Griffith Show in its first color season, but he didn't last long. Yes, that is very true. And about Tina Louise, Polar Kaiju says, low key, that ain't bad. And Sarah says she still looks good. I mean, she looks different, but I mean, I just couldn't believe the hate. I mean, God, she was ginger. Show some respect. Terrell says, fun fact, on Bob's Burgers, the characters of Tina and Louise Belcher were named in an homage to Tina Louise, similar to the Big Bang Theory when Sheldon and Cooper were named after Sheldon Cooper. And then he corrected himself, Terrell did, and says, correction, Sheldon Cooper and Leonard Hofstadter from the Big Bang Theory were named after Sheldon Leonard. Right, Sheldon Leonard, who was in It's a Wonderful Life, and he produced so many classic television shows. He worked with Danny Thomas a lot. The Danny Thomas programs of the 60s and the 50s. My Flock, Roger Moore is also a Saint. Yes, and I like the remake of The Saint. That's one of the few remakes with I haven't had my coffee today. The Iceman, what's his freaking name? People used to say I look like him when I was younger. What's that actor's name? He's got all sorts of health problems. Look him up. Val Kilmer, former Batman, one-time Batman, Val Kilmer. But getting back to Maud Adams. Maud Adams, yeah, that movie's 50 years old, The Man with the Golden Gun, the trailer, but she's 78 today. And she's Swedish. Did you know that? She also appeared in this movie. I'm going to play a clip of Octopussy. I'm just trying to space out the clips, if you know what I'm saying, so the bots don't take me down on YouTube. Let's look at the trailer to Octopussy.
Bond hits an all-time high. Roger Moore is Ian Fleming's James Bond 007 in Octopussy. Roger Moore in his newest and most thrilling of the James Bond adventures, filling the screen with excitement. In the tradition of the great James Bond films, Octopussy has everything: elegant palaces and beautiful women.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Name's Bond. I believe you have a reservation for me.
We've been expecting you, sir.
I'm Octopussy, and you are James Bond, 007 licensed to kill. Am I to be your target for tonight?
This is Bond at his best, hitting an all-time high in Octopussy.
Step on it.
The Bond that tops them all.
Follow that car.
Octopussy racing across the screen with thrills and excitement. Roger Moore in his newest James Bond adventure, hitting an all-time high in Octopussy.
Now, Wikipedia claims Maude Adams also had an uncredited role in A View to a Kill, and I don't know if that's true. I haven't watched that movie in ages. I have them all on Blu-ray. I need to go and look that up. Does anyone in chat, can they confirm that? Is that true? I did not know that. And Terrell says Maude Adams has the rarest distinction of being a Bond girl twice. Indeed, indeed. And yes, he points out, as I did a moment ago, that The Man with the Golden Gun was the second Bond movie from the Roger Moore era. And Terrell also says on Modern Family, Cameron Tucker and Mitchell Pritchett were named in reference to character actor Cameron Mitchell. Interesting factoid there. Appreciate you. I want to talk a little bit. I'd be remiss if I didn't show you this picture I just pulled up on the fly, not of Tina Louise. I'm still learning StreamYard. Let me upload it. Take 2 seconds. This was really cool. Now, Octopussies you saw in that trailer, they kind of borrowed from Raiders of the Lost Ark a little bit. You know, the classic improvised scene where Indy shoots the guy with the sword. They did a similar thing where Bond punches a guy who's got all these torches. You know, it was kind of a ripoff. There's similar things like that. The chase, you know, through the town. You know, it was a lot like Raiders of the Lost Ark. But when that movie was filmed, Octopussy in 1982, it was being filmed at Pinewood Studios in England at the same time as Superman 3. And I love this shot of Christopher Reeve stopping by the set of Octopussy. And they had this shot taken together. I just love that, of the great Christopher Reeve in his better days. Incredible. And he's wearing his wig. Chris Reeve wore a wig. Outside of Superman the movie and Superman 2 through 4, he wore a wig. Did you know that? You can tell there's not really a part in Christopher Reeve's hair there. But yeah, that's, of course, the scene where 007 is dressed as a clown. I think that's the only time that happened in that film franchise. So I like that. Oh, we got to get back to some other birthdays. So I think we've done Maude Adams justice. And she was in a weird movie called Tattoo with Bruce Dern. Bizarre movie. It used to run on HBO all the time. Have you ever seen that movie? It's pretty creepy. Tattoo. And she did a Playboy cover shot. Maude Adams did around that time too. Another comment from Terrell. To be honest, Norman Lear's socially relevant sitcoms bridge the gap between TV from the baby boomer era and TV from the Gen X era. Indeed, I would agree with that. And he tackled very sensitive subjects. I mean, taboo subjects. Look what he did with Maude. I don't want to go into details and say the keywords, but there were a lot of sensitive subjects that were covered in all of the Norman Lear shows. And they all were cutting edge for the most part. I love Mary Hartman. I wasn't allowed to watch that as a kid. It was too adult, but I got the DVDs. It's a funny show. Parody of soap operas, right? Let me now. What was I going to do for you? Oh, yeah. I got a couple more birthdays to cover. Let me get that. Oh, I didn't pull this. I'll just mention it. Back on February 12th, 1981, Rush's album Moving Pictures was released. And that's just one of my favorite albums with an iconic album cover. So I meant to pull that for you. I'll pull it real quick. Let me just, so you can see this awesome artwork. Let me just do that and do that and do that and do that. Bear with me. I'm already going longer than I anticipated going today. I've got stuff to do. And you do too. I'm glad you're here sharing part of your day with me. Let me go here and upload that picture. And I'll show you Rush Moving Pictures. And, you know, who reminded me of this is our friend. If you're on Facebook or just on the internet, obviously you're on the internet, check out retrozest.com. Curtis Landclow interviews a lot of celebrities. He has a podcast, and he also has a great social media platform on Facebook and on Instagram where he honors birthdays of celebrities and the releases of albums like this one. Look at his graphic. He's really good with Photoshop and digital art. But there's the album cover I was referring to. So happy birthday to Rush's Moving Pictures. That's just a classic record album. I don't know about Sarah's always saying I'm epic. I appreciate you giving me a big head. Big ego. So there's that, courtesy of Retrozest, retrozest.com. And he's got t-shirts, Curtis does, and all sorts of cool merch. And his latest show is there. He's due to post one, though. He hasn't had one yet in 2024. His last one was at the end of 2023, where he interviewed the original Lana Lang actress from Superman, the movie. But he had a really good exclusive last year with Maren Jensen from the original Battlestar Galactica. Couldn't believe that he scored that interview because she had been like in hiding for decades. Terrell says the 1970s were the golden age of family-centric TV dramas, both historical and contemporary. The Waltons, Little House on the Prairie, Family, and Eight is Enough all dealt with sensitive and heavy topics. I was a fan of Eight is Enough. The dramedy, right? They had a damn laugh track amongst the tears. That's what she said. Yeah. Yeah. Here I am stuttering again. Let me get back to birthdays. I want to make sure I didn't. There were so many good ones today. Let me get my music going. Doing this alone is a bear sometimes. Let me go. Put the music back. And there was a funny meme going around, get back to the Super Bowl, about the halftime show. I don't know who put this together. Our friend at Who Will Save Generation X podcast, he put one together, a meme, and it says Super Bowl halftime show we really want. And it shows Weird Al Yankovic on his accordion. I thought that was pretty clever. So let me just scan through my list of birthdays. Come on, birthday! Happy 72nd birthday to the incredibly talented Michael McDonald. Taking it to the street, yeah. He hit the scene way back on Tuesday, February 12th, 1952 in St. Louis, Missouri. Songwriter, singer, keyboard artist, and former Doobie Brother Michael McDonald. I'm making all sorts of mistakes. I need my coffee. Also did backup vocals for other recording super artists like Christopher Cross, and they did a funny parody of that on SCTV with Rick Moranis playing Michael McDonald. And that song, Ride Like the Wind. To the border of Mexico. Anyway, he has that one little line, and like Rick Moranis as Michael McDonald's running to the mic, to say that one line, and he's like doing things like reading over contracts or something, reading over some print material, and then he'll go and they'll say, "Oh no, you got to get in the studio," and they push him into the studio, and he goes right at the nick of time in front of the mic. Border of Mexico. I like to win. But I always like that. You're my birthday. Up and up, you're my birthday. Breaking it to the street, yeah. All right, that's my 5-cent impression of Michael McDonald. Happy 68th birthday to actor, comedian, and talk show host Arsenio Hall. Remember that? Who was born on Sunday, February 12th, 1956 in Cleveland, Ohio. Remember he had that box haircut? That was all the rage with African Americans back in 1991 when he hit the scene. He took over for Joan Rivers, the same studio. Joan Rivers had the Joan Rivers Show opposite Johnny Carson briefly in the fall of 1986. I have some on tape. She had William Shatner on there promoting Star Trek 4. And anyway, it didn't last long. And then sadly, her husband Edgar committed suicide after that debacle. And Johnny Carson never spoke to Joan Rivers again because in his mind, she betrayed him. She was his fill-in host at that time, and she didn't tell Johnny that she had done a deal with Fox, which was a brand new network at the time. You had the Tracy Ullman Show, it was before The Simpsons, and you had her late-night talk show, The Joan Rivers Show. And Johnny reportedly was outraged that she did not tell him about that show. Let me make sure there's no other birthdays I want to talk about. Well, over the weekend, Leslie Nielsen had a heavenly birthday. He was born on February 11th, 1926. Don't call him Shirley, right? I thought he was just hysterical. And he was a dramatic actor at first, of course. He appeared in Forbidden Planet on the big screen. It wasn't until Airplane when he got goofy. Happy heavenly birthday to Lauren Green from Bonanza and the original Battlestar Galactica. He was born as Lorne Hyman Green on Friday, February 12th, 1915 in Ottawa, Ontario in Canada. Lorne Green passed away way back on Friday, September 11th of all days, 1987 from complications from pneumonia following surgery at the age of 72. But he sure is remembered. He was a funny guy. There's footage out there on game shows like Tattletales and bloopers and talk shows like Johnny Carson and the Dinah Shore Show. He had a great sense of humor. He absolutely did. And Pat McCormack of Golden Rage of TV put together a nice graphic honoring Lorne Green with his Bonanza co-stars that I put on the Nostalgic Podblast Facebook group page. It's a group, not a page. Happy birthday to this guy. Here's a character actor I'm going to feature in the near future. I like him. A lot of people don't. I like him a lot. Michael Ironside. He was a tough guy actor. You know, in V, he kind of copied Harrison Ford a little bit. I don't know if he copied him or if it was just they were similar. So I can't accuse him. I'll walk that back. I can't accuse him of copying Harrison Ford. But he had a similar style. But his birth name was Frederick Reginald Ironside. born on Sunday, February 12th, 1950. Another Canadian, born in Toronto, Ontario, in Canada. So happy 74th birthday to you, Michael Ironside. Such a great actor, I think. Just well known, you know, just a great face. I got our nostalgic treat of the week coming up, but let me see what I want to do. I guess that's a wrap on birthdays. That'll be a wrap on boys' days. And you know what? I really couldn't find any other Valentine's Day really specials or episodes that are noteworthy, in my opinion. So we'll wrap on that topic as well. I think I've covered Valentine's Day adequately. Maybe, hopefully, a little bit more than adequately, but we covered the history of Valentine's Day and talked a little bit about movies that dealt with Valentine's Day, at least one. My Bloody Valentine. Now, let me get back to this. Here's another Valentine for you. Karen Valentine from Room 222. There's no birthday, no nothing. I just like her because she was really a cutie on shows like Love American Style and Room 222, where she played a student teacher at first who became a full-fledged teacher later on in the show. And I liked her a lot. And here she is then and now. A more recent photograph of her on the right. And of Room 222, which was a Fox show now owned by Disney, they only released 2 seasons of the 5-season show. The 5th season was cut short. It was canceled in the middle of its 5th season. So the 5th season only has a handful of episodes. But there were full seasons of 4 seasons. And they only released 2 seasons. That's from my DVD set. I took that photo for y'all. Of Room 222. And they have a nice little booklet on the inside. And I think Rhino put that out or released Room 222 seasons 1 and 2. Or was it Shout Factory? I got to give credit where credit's due. It's right here. Oh, here, let me, gosh darn it. There. Oh, I got to switch cameras. Let me switch so I can show you the season 2 DVD, which is the rarest DVD of the 2 sets they did release. There. Oh, geez. There's season 2. And there's Karen Valentine on the back. I think I was a Valentine's lay because I was born November 21st. So if you do the math, 9 months from Valentine's Day is around November 21st. So I think I was a Valentine's lay. Shout Factory. It was Shout Factory. And, oh dear. Oh dear. I should have put together some trivia. Maybe we'll do some trivia for prizes today. Karaoke stream when, says Polar Kaiju. Oh gosh, there's a lot of comments I must acknowledge here. Sarah says, I've seen Weird Al Yankovic in concert. It was so good. Oh, I bet he was pretty entertaining. He's a talented guy. I love Eat It. That's my favorite of his parodies. Eat It. Eat It. Terrell says, when Linda Carter When the Linda Carter Wonder Woman TV series switched networks between the first and second seasons, they did the 30-year time jump in order to compete with Charlie's Angels and the Bionic Woman. Yeah. And have you ever seen the slot machines that they made? I played them in Vegas and in the Flamingo. I'm sorry, in the, who gives a crap? In Jamaica, what was that hotel? Atlantis, the Atlantis Hotel. Anyway, there's 2. There's one based on the World War II era Linda Carter show and one based on the 1970s updated version. And they're both a heck of a lot of fun. They show clips from the show. There's great music, like new music scored like the 70s and the 70s version. They're very, very well made and a hell of a lot of fun to play. And I won some money on them. Let's see here. Other comments. Lauren Green voices was amazing. He could sing. Lauren Green. Yep, she misspelled it, but I know what you mean. She says, ha, ha, ha. Terrell says, Room 222 was one of the few dramedies on TV at the time. The word dramedy wasn't even invented to feature African-American leads. Yes. Yes, that's right. Lloyd Haynes, who was in the second Star Trek pilot and the first Star Trek with William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk, Where No Man's Gone Before, written by George Peoples. He was one of the navigators, and he was replaced. The networks replaced him and other actors. It didn't have anything to do with his race. The actors were replaced because we had another African-American actor come on, Nichelle Nichols, in the third produced episode, The Corbomite Maneuver. So that wasn't the issue. The only one who survived all these casting changes was Leonard Nimoy as Mr. Spock. He was in the first pilot of Star Trek, The Cage, and Where No Man's Gone Before. But Lloyd Haynes was in that, and then he starred in Room 222. And then you had Nicholas also, who played one of the counselors on the show, and she later did In the Heat of the Night with Carol O'Connor. But yeah, that's an astute observation. Yep. And, you know, they had a laugh track in season 1 of Room 222, and wisely they got rid of it in season 2. They jettisoned the laugh track. And I'm so glad they did. The laugh track was so awkward. That's okay. It doesn't matter if you misspelled something, Sarah. It's all good. We love you anyway. It's all good. I guess we should talk about the nostalgic treat of the week, and it's this. I said it was, I should save this. You know what? I said it would be the Valentine's Conversation Hearts, so I'll be consistent. I was going to show you something else. I'll save that for next time. I'll save it for next time. But I can show you this. The Hollywood Candy Bar. Look at that. Sorry, listeners. This is a visual image of an old candy bar called Hollywood. Flavor-loving candy bars. But that's not going to be my nostalgic treat of the week next week. Let me find some other clips that I've pulled for everybody on the fly. How about that intro? I love that NBC in color with Star Trek images. I love that. And that superior quality. It's like excellent quality. So what did I not play yet? Damn, I wanted to play this. I talked about the $6 Million Man bloopers. This was an unintentional blooper. When that show began, it was a series of 90-minute TV movies based on the novel Cyborg, written by Martin Caidin. Well, the second movie, which, as you saw in the Man with the Golden Gun trailer, you saw a blonde actress who played Mary Goodnight. Beautiful Swedish actress who's also in what I'm about to show you now. The second $6 Million Man TV movie was called Wine, Women, and War, and it was much more adult than the 1 hour show. And they actually had a James Bond-like theme. They did, written by Glenn A. Larson. It's so bad, it stinks. It really does. It's not even so bad it's good. It really stinks, but it's interesting. And in rerun syndication, they spliced on the traditional $6 Million Man 1 hour series opening credits from the 5th season and cut this out. But I want to play for you now the $6 Million Man James Bond opening, if you will, for the second movie titled Wine, Women, and War. And you'll notice some of the more familiar trappings like "We can rebuild him." Some of the lines they retooled for the regular series opening down the line, you'll hear in this rare clip.
Mission Control. Steve, what is it? What's wrong?
I was hoping you could tell me.
He's alive. He lost an arm, 2 legs, and 1 eye, but he's alive.
I'm not sure he'd want to live if he can't be the man he was.
What if he could be more than the man he was? We have the technology to rebuild him. I want it done no matter what the cost.
He's the catch him if you can, beat him if you can, love him if you can. Now he's the $6 million man.
Well, like I said, we rise to the occasion.
He's the man. He's the man. He's my man. Let me tell you about him. Can't do without him. He's one of a kind. Now he's the man. can, beat him if you can, love him if you can. Now he's the man. $6 million man.
What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Dusty Springfield sang that, as you may have seen in the credits right then, but that was some pretty bad stuff. But you had Britt Eklund in there, and that was right before she was a Bond girl, right around that same time where she became a Bond girl. Sarah says, wow, that's an underwhelming song. I know. I want to play now the $6 Million Man bloopers at 7 minutes long. Unfortunately, the quality is not great, but I do want to present this to you just for the F of it.
I guess it all depends. Oh, yeah. I'll be chasing April down the dusty road of life. I guess it all depends upon the way in which you look at things. Like if you're standing on your head or the other way around. Now you can give the man a hand or a big old pocket full of sand. So long as you still know you're upside, run it down. Woo! Hey, how about that? Woo! All
right. Truth hurts, doesn't it, Laporte? You'll be able to show you who's tough. I mean, we're gonna have a scrimmage right here and now.
What are you doing? Trying to get us killed early?
Relax, Bobby. You keep out of this.
Better do as he says, Laporte. You start playing head-on football with Bronco here, you'll have to get your tail kicked.
That's it. Austin, that's it. We're gonna do it right here and now.
Okay, calm down.
You're a peckerhead.
I love you.
Parker.
No.
135, take 2.
Second marker.
Second marker.
Try it again. How can we act in front of all this? Hey, Steve.
Great game, great game.
Thank you. I forgot my fucking line, right?
I would have been too if I'd have been told.
Line? But I heard there's talk. But I heard there's talk that somebody.
Oh, you must mean them slag creepies. They're the only people in town that gets that field out there.
What's their beef?
You been down to Stony Creek? Nothing but dry, mangy, nothing but chaparral and cactus and crap. Now that, you know what I'm telling you? That is the natural environment that they're trying to save. You gotta be kidding.
In my book, Mr. Austin, that makes the Sasquatch public domain. And next time I capture him, I'll capture him. Without any... And they'll use my tranquilizer and snare him in my net.
Cut it.
I went back after he ran off and made a casting of his...
Come here. Go the other side.
Wrong side.
All right.
Just see the reaction on his face. Hama, 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 hama.
Take 3. See that? 3. Okay.
No chalk. We don't even give you chalk in this business. Here.
And? Right now, settle?
Oh, shit. Temporarily. Until we move to larger quarters.
Double X, take 1.
Hi there.
I'm the new green man on the show. Teddy Schultz hired me. Are you gonna quit at 6 million, pal? Huh? Shit, when it gets over my head, I'm gonna quit. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow of doom. Cut! Thank you. That's all right. You ever consider government service, Billy? Huh?
Steve, this is Cindy Walker. Cindy, Steve Avery.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Best RTO in the department.
I heard her on the radio several times a day. You sure sound better than you look. I mean, you
I
sound better than you
hope
sound.
not, but however.
All right, good. Sound better than you look.
So that was an earthquake.
There's a bear shit in the woods. You better work with it. Start zooming open. Dialogue.
Steve? It's a marvelous work of art. Franklin's designs are beautiful.
Harry. That nice name. You know, sometimes when wild animals are captured, they, shit in their pants. You're a quack.
Now, if you can't find your way to the dorms, that's just TS.
Are you listening, Lynn? Oh my God. Picky.
You've had the same crew right from the start?
No. We change crews about every week.
Got it, fellas. Yes, thank you. It's all the network one.
All right, now, you're fitting it, Lee. You're seeing things. It's flashback.
Steve!
Steve, hi.
What do you think, Tonto? You're doing all right. It's 8 o'clock. We're on mealtime.
Thank God.
Right here. Right there.
The quality wasn't great, but and that wasn't nearly as good as the emergency bloopers that Sarah and I laughed aloud to on her channel, My Flock. That was pretty funny. But I thought those were still pretty entertaining. Got another quick clip, minute long clip. I'm going to do a Podblast on the John Hughes comedies. And one of my favorite John Hughes movies, besides Weird Science, is 16 Candles. I thought this scene was so funny. And I feel like this guy a lot. Anthony Michael Hall's character, the dweeb, where he holds up the panties in the bathroom amongst the fellow dweebs. Let's watch this. Hopefully this won't get me taken down.
How could you walk out the door on me? I thought that your love was mine and mine for keeping. Now I see I was very wrong.
I can't believe I'm such a jerk. He smiles at me and I don't say anything. I can't believe I gave my panties to a geek.
What year are you?
Freshman.
Give me a buck. Okay, get in.
Bryce? Ted? Go for it.
scene, it always stuck with me. It's just so silly. I don't know. Oh. Anyway. All right. Gosh, we've gone 2 hours. I think I'm going to start to wrap it up. Make sure there wasn't anything else I wanted to share. Usually I'll do a music video of the week. I'm going to skip that. I'll save it for Friday night when I'm back live in my regular time slot. Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time here in the Nostalgic Podblast on YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Facebook Live. And let's see. Yeah, I guess I'm going to sign off. If there's nothing else, any other comments? Hope everyone has a nice Valentine's Day. Even if you don't have a sweetheart, I hope that you find something fun to do and enjoy the candy. And thanks for tuning in to this impromptu edition of the Nostalgic Podblast. Have a great, great week. Oh, wait. There's Mar. I did forget to do my little shout outs of some other YouTube channels that I like. I like to give some props to some folks who also, promote me as well. But I want to mention, let's start with Facebook. The Fun World of Classic Television. Steve Russo runs that group. It's a great Facebook group with a lot of information. And also Nostalgia World, Jerry Dobson, Jerry with a G. That's another fun Facebook group if you're a Facebooker. Also, the Man Cave 101 podcast. I enjoy them. They are on Thursday nights on YouTube. Thursday nights, I think around 7:30 or so for about 90 minutes to 2 hours talking about the latest pop culture news. And very entertaining, fresh perspective. I like their perspective of pop culture, both past and present, mostly present. They talk about the Marvel stuff. So if you're into the comic books and video games, you'll want to check them out. And then also Retro Nerd Girl on YouTube. She has a really nice channel. I enjoy hers. Geek to Me Radio, which is a live 1 hour show on Sunday night on YouTube. James Install hosts that. He's also on the radio on a big station in St. Louis, Missouri, KTRS. He's live at 7 Pacific, 9 Central, his local time, and 10 p.m. Eastern time for 1 hour Sunday evening. He interviews a lot of current celebrities, current creators, writers, artists. As the name implies, it's on the geeky side, which I like. And he talks about current movies. He does movie reviews. Really fun show that I enjoy, and it's also on YouTube Live. So it's on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, Geek to Me Radio. K-Pop Junkie out of Michigan. Katie is her real name, and her YouTube channel is spelled K-Pop, letter K, letter P, letter O, letter P, _ JUNKI. And she interviews creators, artists, comic book writers. Really good, entertaining information. And she's just sporadic, so subscribe to her channel so you'll know when she's going live. She usually gives a week to two advance, notice of when she'll have a show. Thrash Pondo Ponds, Bob out of Massachusetts State. He's live Sunday night, just after dinner, 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Pacific time, doing trivia, pop culture trivia. I enjoy that. If you listen to radio, BK on the Air is on Saturdays, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time on WBHF radio in Cartersville, Georgia. They don't do YouTube Live, but the host, Barry King, with his co-host, Alan Sanders, is really Barry King's show. He will convert the audio of the radio to a podcast and put it on podcast platforms. So not just YouTube. It'll, if you just look up BK on the Air, like Burger King, letter B, letter K on the Air, you can find his stuff. Curtis, I mentioned him earlier, retrozest.com website and the Retro Zest podcast. I call it the Retro Zest Show. I run it on Fistful of Radio out of Atlanta. He has excellent content, guests, and fun. And also Dave Sundstrom, which is a major pop culture channel on YouTube, many, many subscribers. He has excellent video content and live chat and exclusive content for his members as well. Dave Sundstrom on YouTube. Last name is spelled Sunstrom. Dave Sundstrom. And then Pat McCormack, Golden Rage of TV on YouTube. He interviews celebrities as well pertaining to the golden age of television. And he's really, really good. And he is a Emmy winner. He's won an Emmy Award for his part in a fictional band on General Hospital. Daytime Emmy Award, but it counts. Daytime Emmy Award, but it's still very impressive, I think. So there's that. Those are our plugs, and I hope I didn't leave anyone out. Oh, yeah. Al Hardy has a Facebook group, Nostalgia Rewind, and Tom Williams, a.k.a. Basil Chesterman, has Basil's Nostalgia Facebook group. Yeah, Basil's Original Nostalgia Facebook group. So, yeah, those are my little shout-outs there. Let me just scan through something. I forgot to talk about our friends at Remind Magazine. How could I forget that? Let me just talk about this offer. Do you ever struggle to come up with an idea for a birthday gift or maybe a graduation gift, whatever the occasion might be, holiday present? Well, how would you like to give someone that would last an entire year for just $12 out the door? That includes shipping. That includes tax, the whole 9 yards. Unbelievable deal. Well, let me show you the cover of the latest edition of Remind Magazine, which is right here. Remind Magazine. The regular price is $4.99 plus tax on the newsstand. And yes, you can still find Remind Magazine on a newsstand at Barnes & Noble and other places, other major cities that have newsstands like Los Angeles, New York, or whatever bookstores you can find, because Amazon's kind of put bookstores out of business. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime special deal. It's going to go away soon, this $12 for an entire year. And let's face it, your gift recipient will think you spent a hell of a lot more than just $12. If you're here listening to or watching the Nostalgic Podblast, the chances are you're into nostalgia. Well, this monthly magazine, Remind Magazine, is absolutely loaded with interesting articles, games, full-color photos, interviews with your favorite stars, creators, and personalities, and lots more. Remind Magazine offers fresh takes on popular entertainment. They focus on the 1950s through the 1990s, and there's lots of trivia quizzes and classic comics and other features. And it's written on an adult level while gently tapping your inner child. And it comes to you in the mail. Here's how you order. Mention the Nostalgic Podblast if you'd be so kind. Go to remindmagazine.com to order. They accept all major credit cards. They have a secure and safe online ordering portal, or you can give them a call and speak with a kind order specialist at 855-773-6463. 855-773-6463. And they'll process your Remind Magazine subscription for just $12. You can't even get a streaming site for $12 for 1 month. Even the dollar stores are practically changing their names from Dollar Tree to $5 Tree. It's getting out of hand with this inflation. Not with Remind Magazine. That's an introductory offer for the first year. You'll be so glad that you ordered for yourself or for a loved one for their birthday. And they'll think you spent a lot more than $12. I've said that like 5 times now. Okay, back to the chat. Let me just look at Facebook. Oh, gosh, yes. I guess I'll tease and just show you what the next week treat of the week is while I have the photos popped up. I usually don't do this. I don't like to telegraph my punch, but it's Freshen Up gum. Do you remember Freshen Up? I found some interesting factoids and tidbits of information about Freshen Up we'll talk about next time on the Nostalgic Podblast. So again, hope everyone has a good one. Let me just scan through the comments and chat. Good night, says Terrell. Thank you for your commentary, Terrell. Your contributions are very much appreciated. You had some excellent facts, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to just scan through my photos again. This is so awkward. Let's see here. Yeah, that's old stuff. Okay. Now I'm really going to sign off. This is painful as I struggle. I had a cartoon for you. I think I'm going to just save that for next time because I've really got stuff I got to do. I just can't tear myself away here. I want to plug this again, 35-second plug for this comic book. This is a back issue now that you can find, but it features both the Bionic Woman and Wonder Woman. And look at this cool art.
It's been decided and agreed upon that the two of you will be working together.
I love that. I think that's so well drawn, and it's just a really cool edited little commercial. Love it. So I've got other stuff we'll save for next week. Now I'm really signing off. Thanks for being here, and have a great rest of your week.